Glad to see you here on a Saturday morning. Always seems difficult when we're at the tail end of a conference to get everybody excited and energized, but I hope that today's forum will do just that. My name's Andy Huckabee. I am the city councilman with Lenexa, Kansas. We're part of the Greater Kansas City area. I also chair the Information Technology and Communications Committee for National League of Cities. And it's my pleasure today to open this particular segment on improved city services delivery using technology. And we are very fortunate today to have two wonderful guests and speakers to join us. I'll introduce them in just a minute. I want to tell you that as cities, and I think we can all relate to this, we are stretched with our resources, and we're always trying to find ways to do things better, do things smarter. How can we use technology to begin to multiply the numbers that we have and multiply the capabilities that we have? And we're at a really unique time where technology is beginning to catch up with our needs and our desires to really reach out to people. Whether it be mobile technologies, whether it be the web, whether it be high bandwidth applications that as a city we can improve the way we serve our citizens and improve the way we reach out to people. So this is quite a great opportunity for us, and I would imagine that most of you are in the room because you recognize that fact, that technology is one of the ways that we can really begin to push forward, to be proactive, to be aspirational, to do things maybe not just the old things in a different way, but maybe do some new things that truly create a quality of life for the citizens that we serve, that truly deliver services that are well beyond anything that we're able to do today. And some of the technologies we'll talk about today are just the tip of the iceberg for that. So I would encourage you all to sit back, to enjoy our speakers, and then after they're done, I'm going to give you a chance to interact with them a little bit. And so if you have a notepad or something that you can write a question or two on, that would be great, because we'll have a nice, rich dialogue as we move forward here. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Roy Buell, and I'm not going, I asked you before, didn't I? Roy Buell, he is the mayor of the city of Dubuque, Iowa. Roy is a native, Dubuque native, 30-year retired employee of John Deere, Dubuque Works. Since 2002, he's been the director of landscaping and grounds department at the University of Dubuque. Mayor Buell holds a bachelor's of business administration degree with a double major in business and marketing from the University of Dubuque, where he also completed graduate coursework toward a master's of arts in communication. Mayor Buell was first elected to a 4-year term as mayor of Dubuque, Iowa in November 2005. He was reelected in November 2009. He previously was elected as second ward representative to the city council in 1995 and was reelected in 1999 and again in 2003. He is currently enrolled in the National League of Cities Certificate of Achievement and Leadership Program and represents Dubuque in the U.S. Conference of Mayors. It's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Roy Buell. Let me see if I can get your thing up here. And from the beginning. I got a slideshow. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going, I think. We're on slideshow. Start slideshow. There we go. Well, gosh.
We need the tech person. Just hit escape there and then come over here. Where'd you?
Here, F5 will do it.
There you go.
All right, we're good to go. Thank you very much. I want to give you a brief overview today on a very exciting program that we're working on in Dubuque. It's called Smarter Sustainable Dubuque. Our sustainability program in the city of Dubuque actually started when I was elected mayor in 2005 and joined the Conference of Mayors and brought back the information that was shared with me by the Mayor's Climate Protection Group. And we've made green, sustainable Dubuque a top priority in the city every year since in our goal setting. And then we turned our Sustainable Dubuque program over to citizens, to a citizen group, and let them tell the city what they saw as a sustainable community. And this is the definition they came up with, that Dubuque is a viable, livable, and equitable community. We embrace economic prosperity, environmental integrity, and social cultural vibrancy to create a sustainable legacy for generations to come. I call Sustainable Dubuque generational planning. And I kind of came up with that while I was still a councilman and was being blessed with grandchildren. So today we have 9, and this is all about them and their future. On September 17th of 2009, Sustainable Dubuque met IBM in their Smarter Planet initiative. And they invited the city of Dubuque to become what they would call their first smarter city in North America. And it's a unique partnership of the city of Dubuque and IBM Research. I don't know if I went the wrong way here. Oh, no, there we go. The unique partners that are involved in this initiative in the city are the City of Dubuque, IBM Research, the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque, which is a nonprofit, which is a lot of the outreach, Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, which is an economic development partner, the Dubuque Area Chamber of Commerce, which is a very significant partner. In many cases, when you talk sustainability, you get a lot of doubt from the business community. And in our community, the Chamber is a very active partner. Alliant Energy is our electricity provider, and Black Hills Energy is our natural gas provider. The Iowa Power Fund has provided us with some initial funding on our electricity pilot, and there are many other public and private partners. And what we're doing is coordinating smart technology with active community engagement. You need to involve citizens every step of the way and keep them on board. And it's kind of the same process we use in developing our Sustainable Dubuque program. The silos that we're doing the research on are water, electricity, natural gas, vehicle miles traveled, or our travel component, and then health and wellness. What is Smarter Sustainable Dubuque? Well, it's designed to give people what they need so that they can do what they want. What they need is reliable information that's specific to them or as an individual or a household, or specific to the business that they're running. And it's to save resources and money, and also to improve the environment and the local economy. Data, which accomplishes its objective by increasing the availability and usability of relevant data, both as it relates to the number of resource decisions that are going to be made, that it can affect, and then the level of impact that it can have. And as we look at the number of resource decisions, those can be decisions that affect any of the silos that we're testing with this research, or it can be the impact, which is to eliminate waste or maybe identify some efficiencies that you can use, or create optimization of that resource. The way that the model works is the information flows from smart meters provided by the city, or this. Let's see. I think I might have gone one too many here. Let me try to back up. Here we go. Hit the button too many times. The way the model works is information flows from smart meters provided by the city, Alliant Energy, and Black Hills, and our smartphones that we use for our travel model. There's actually a application on my phone that tells them anonymously where my phone is, so how I travel through the city. And then the products that are provided to the consumer is, number one, a dashboard for residents, so they can see their usage patterns in near real time. And they can then make decisions based on potential financial, resource, and carbon footprint savings about how they consume energy. And then an aggregated city management platform, which gives city leaders and utility providers can see in aggregate how residents and businesses are using energy and design and implement policies and projects to optimize resource management. An example would be city altering public transit routes to meet the travel patterns of residents, or utility providers theoretically could focus on shifting peak demand to other times of day as opposed to having to build new facilities to meet that peak demand. And this is the residents' dashboard. This is what our pilot households were provided so that they could see. It was all anonymous data. At the top left, you'll see this profile went by the name of Water Miserati. Could be anybody in our community. But you can see the different data that they were provided in their homes, daily usage, things that they could use, information they could use in real time to make decisions on how they were using the water resource. And then this is a view of the city's dashboard for the Smarter Water Portal. And if you note on the bottom of the line graph, you can see how engaged pilot households conserve water at a higher rate than the non-engaged households. I don't know if you can see that in the back, but it really gives very significant data to the city. These are some of the findings that we got from our water pilot. We saw a 6.6% decline in water usage for households that were engaged in the pilot. And if you extrapolated that savings over the entire 20-some thousand households in the city, it would be a water savings of 65 million gallons a year, or an aggregate water saving on water bills of $190,936. And these are just, as I say, from a pilot study. And I think the more information homeowners are given or businesses are given, the more they're going to try to drive down their usage and save money and in turn save resources. 77% of the households said that the water portal increased their understanding of how they use that resource. 61% reported that during the study they had made a change to their water equipment or in other ways that they used water. And 48% said that they planned to make changes. The Smarter Water opportunities and challenges. This month, we're going to increase our water pilot to 3,000 more households and 1,000 businesses in the community. Every home in our community now has the smart water meter. That was a project that we had planned to do prior to this partnership with IBM Research. And we're hoping to prove the value to the entire community when we go to scale, and that will be critical market as a market opportunity for IBM, as an engagement opportunity for the city. And the city and IBM are beginning to wrestle with the chicken and the egg economics of additional expansion. The need to have system changes to create savings in revenue, but you also have to have savings in revenue to afford the changes. So that's one of the things that we're wrestling with today on how to move this forward and take it to scale throughout the city. Our Smarter Electricity pilot is a research program that's supported by the Iowa Power Fund, And it's the installation of systems completed with our partner Alliant Energy. They've placed 1,000 smart meters in the community for this pilot project. The pilot is underway, and profile building system is completed, and we should have this pilot completed by the end of November. While technology is important to Smarter Sustainable Dubuque project, what makes this project different than many smart meter projects across the country is the community engagement piece of the puzzle. Pilot households were encouraged to attend drop-in events where they could stop by the library or a location in their neighborhood to visit one-on-one with city staff to get hands-on assistance in logging into the portal. And this personal connection has been key to the early success of this program. And this is a slide of the portal that these pilot households actually have in their home. In the first week of the pilot, participants used 2% less electricity than non-users, and in the second week that had increased to almost 5%. Most used areas of the portal are the two on the bottom. The comparison area on the left queries, how does my use now compare with my use a year ago? We have historical data on all these homes, so we can actually show them how what they're doing today compares with what they did a year ago. And this area also divides energy use into three categories. Large consumers, such as your air conditioner, medium users, like your flat screen TV, or small users like cell phone chargers, plus your phantom energy. And then the action area on the right side provides customized recommendations to decrease electricity use based on your usage patterns and the information that you entered about the appliances in your home when you created your profile. So this just gives you suggestions on things that you could do to reduce the amount of electricity that you're using. These are different areas. This menu area gives you alerts maybe on excessive energy use. You're able to chat with other folks in the program, edit your profile, if you added new appliances or something in your home, changing passwords. This is your consumption report for your specific location. This is more information on how you're trending, whether you're using more or less energy, where you rank in that group of households that is similar in size with number of occupants. And then there's green points. There's things that you can do. It's like a game where you can accumulate green points, and then at the end of the pilot there are prizes for those who accumulated the most. This is the daily usage area where you can go back. You can slide that line back anywhere. If you see a spike in energy, you can go back and see what it was and determine possibly whether maybe it was you were using electricity during a peak part of the day to run your dishwasher or doing the laundry, and this will tell you, if you'd have waited a couple of hours and done it later, you'd have saved maybe X number of dollars, those types of things. And then this is your daily consumption by hour. The meter reads it every hour to tell you when you're using the most electricity. And this is your insight area. It's comparing different times of the year and how you use your energy. Maybe in the spring, you're obviously not using your air conditioner. The summer you are, and winter it's heating. It just gives you the opportunity to compare. And this is the comparison area I talked about. Comparing what you're using this year to last. And again, this is the action area that will give you some insights into how you can improve your energy usage. Smarter Electricity has shown the usage reduction in this pilot anywhere from 4% to 11% per month. And as I say, we won't have that final aggregate data until the end of November. And while the need to see results for the full pilot, it certainly looks like there's a significant opportunity to save energy And we'll obviously want to see if these reductions are persistent, if people consistently are doing different things to save that energy, and also whether we can extrapolate that into the general population to see what would happen, how much energy we would save as a community if we could use that across all of our households. The engagement has been building slowly, but it's proving to be sticky. And by that we mean once we engage a household and show them how to use this portal, they tend to come back and continue to use it. They are obviously seeing value in having that information. Then the infrastructure for expansion to scale is not in place. And there are several reasons for that, but you can imagine all the regulatory agencies that you have to deal with at the state level when you're talking about utilities, and so there's a lot of work that still has to be done in that regard. Smarter Natural Gas, the city in Black Hills Energy, our gas providers, invested in supporting infrastructure and recruitment. I think we've got 250 smart gas meters that Black Hills installed. And that's a critical silo in the IBM Smarter City vision of an integrated community system. But we've had complexities in our smarter electricity, working through issues with the service providers and also with our smarter travel analysis and how we were going to get that information. So it's set this back probably about a month now. We wanted to get this up and running during our heating season in the winter so we can really get some robust data. And then smarter travel. Our recruitment is underway after we had some technical challenges with how we were going to get the information from smartphones, working through the providers and working with IBM Research on an application that was easy to install and easy for people to understand. This is all anonymous data that we get. We don't know whose phone it is that is being tracked. We just know that there's a phone. I have it on mine. They know that that phone is going from point A to point B, and it's being used to optimize our planning around our transit system so that we know where people are going and at what frequency. And we do have a transit-dependent population, our low and moderate income folks, and we have given them a device that they just carry with them. It's anonymous, but it helps us to track their travel throughout the city. And the funding for the Smarter Travel, we've gotten some grants from the Climate Showcase and State of Good Repair. Those two grants actually allowed us to change out our entire bus fleet. We went to a clean diesel bus fleet, which is really saving a lot on our fuel costs and has also cleaned up the carbon footprint of the city. And then Smarter Health, we're exploring two opportunities as a potentially cost-effective platform to begin building Smarter Health. The first is our Smarter Travel pilot and how, using your vehicle less, maybe walking more or bicycling, that type of thing, how that will help your personal health outcomes. And then we've initiated a program called Green and Healthy Homes and how we're converting changes in income and the environment to improvements in health equity. Now when we go into these homes, whether we're doing installation, retrofits of any of the things in that home that will make it more efficient to run, whether it's insulating, weather stripping, those types of things. We're also dealing with things like lead paint abatement, the quality of air in the homes. So any of those agencies that would deal with low and moderate income and improving that home are now doing it in a one-top shop type of operation. One person goes in, does the evaluation, and all of the agencies work together to make that home a green and healthy space. And it's actually shown a 20 to 25% cost reduction in doing that work. So this is a very hopeful program that we're looking at that will really improve, I think, the lives of everyone in the community in that low and moderate income sector. And then we're looking for strategic direction on how Dubuque's smarter health activity plan can be of value to IBM's global health initiative. Their emerging work in systems integration, services research, cloud computing, analytics, and emerging fields such as nanomedicine and testing Watson's capacity in health. So we're very excited about the potential that our Smarter Sustainable Dubuque Research project has, and I think it's going to be something that ultimately will not only save individuals and businesses money, but will give cities that actually implement this type of process competitive advantages over cities of like size, or businesses will have advantages over competitors that are making the same widgets that don't have this information to cut costs. I think that's all I have for right now. I'll be certainly happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mayor Buell. Our next speaker is Diane Gardner, the Chief Information Officer, Information Technology Department, City of Mesa, Arizona. Diane Gardner has worked in technology in both the private sector and local government for over 25 years. During her leadership in Mesa, she led the early e-government initiatives, established a formal project management office to manage IT investments, and now serves as the Chief Information Officer for the City of Mesa. Diane holds a Master's in Public Administration from the University of Oregon. Diane Gardner.
I guess I shouldn't say that, but I have daughters who are at ASU as well. Thank you. I welcome the opportunity to have a few moments. I know I have some fellow geeks here with me. Start that. And when Julie asked me just to come share some of the things that we're doing in Mesa, I decided to zero in on some of the things that were pretty much done in-house, were the results of, or free, we like free software, right? Or were the results of when we put technology people and department people in a room and said, here's a problem, let's figure out how to solve it. You know, step out of the boxes, don't try to just go down the typical path, let's see what we can do. And it's the fun stuff, it's the stuff that reinvigorates the IT department to do some of this kind of innovation on the side. I remember when websites were so cool. I mean, that was the whole thing we focused on, and being able to build a website and major efforts to do the next redesign. And now they've become so passé. I mean, they've become, yeah, you have to have one, just like you have to have water and utilities flowing. So one of the things I wanted to talk about were some of the things you can do when you kind of combine technologies. One of the neat things about engagement and transparency is that when you try some of these things and it doesn't necessarily prove out, then you haven't had a huge investment in it, and so you kind of have to balance that issue. One of the things we had going on is we have a wonderful airport that has grown to be the 4th busiest general aviation airport. We're very proud of Falcon Field, so I had to do a little commercial moment here. It was Arizona Airport of the Year. But as the airport grew, so did the concerns and complaints about airport safety and airport noise. And so what we really needed to do was find a way to truly engage and have the citizens feel like they were heard, as well as give airport staff some kind of tools behind the scenes to try to address that program. So they started a program called Flying Friendly, a whole bunch of education, a whole bunch of awareness, understanding the business of the airport, that it's not just a black and white issue, that you really have to obviously try to meet the needs of the community around the airport, but you also need to have a successful airport. So given that in mind, we started the typical thing you do is you put an online form up, which you need to do because, you know, it seems like no-brainer, but it does help all the manual stuff that's going on. You know, the phone calls, the voicemails, the exchange of emails. At least by putting an online form up, you not only have a convenient way so that it is at 5:30 in the morning when they hear that, you know, airline landing, that they can, you know, log their concern, but it also, you can ask for the right kinds of information. You want to ask for the things, prompt them for the kinds of information that would help you follow up faster, so that you can ask for what kind of aircraft, what was the weather, you know, what's the date and time, those kind of things. You'll be amazed because usually it's not, you know, the same person might offer complaints, you know, more than once, so they know what they're looking for next time when they have a concern and they give you that information. But probably more importantly is this information is being fed into a system that airport staff behind the scenes can now do something with it. what we did is we took interactive mapping. We took our GIS, and if this was live, I'd zoom in and all that cool stuff. But basically, you can take a picture of the airport, and you have the zones around it, which shows us the typical decibel noise levels that are normal for an airport of that size in those different regions. And then you can start to see the little brown dots are the comments, the concerns that are coming in from those particular households. So you do it by address and start bringing it down to the individual citizen level. So they can take that particular system, and what we did is three things. We have the concerns coming into a database that has all kinds of information for us. We have the interactive mapping knowing the kinds of things that are going on at the airport. And then we took some aviation scanners and a public frequency, a PC, and developed some software and started capturing the flight activity that was going on at the airport. It basically clicks on and records when you have that chatter and then clicks off when it's gone. And there's obviously information exchanged in that chatter, so that when we come in and analyze the kinds of comments that are occurring in what areas, we could then go to a searchable database and know what type of scheduled and sometimes unscheduled activities that were occurring at the airport at odd times. It really helped us early on to drill down and go, whoa, okay, we need to go talk to some of these pilots and some of the flight schools. Here's some of the things you need to do differently, because there is unscheduled activities. That was kind of my I didn't know about with airports, when you have these size airports, that it helped drill down on what was going on. And even better, we could proactively communicate to these citizens when something was going to occur that was going to generate an unusual amount of noise for them. And we would get comments. You can drill down into the comment and who it is and how many times they have had concerns. And they would respond. I mean, we found that we would get positive responses back, such as this one of, thank you for the notification when this is going to occur. That's a nice neighborly gesture. And they're also out there looking out for, what's going on, saying there's a crop dusting plane that's doing touch and goes. They're concerned, and we're able to then go back to that air traffic recording and know exactly who that was. So it was putting a bunch of people in a room using existing tools to put this together. And of course, those management summaries and reviews and all the work that they were needing to do manually to report what was going on and is the situation improving, it was all there in databases now so they could quickly pull that information together. Another example I thought I would use is capital improvement because, boy, that's a subject near and dear to all of us and something very familiar. And we all typically have the big CIP programs, and you have your spreadsheets, and many of us are doing this in interactive mapping now, correct, where you've got the map of your city, and you have your points where you can go see where the projects are. This one is, I've got all the things popped up, but they can basically go in and turn on whether they just want to look at the public safety CIP, and then they can drill down to how much that particular project cost, et cetera. But what we wanted to do when we got bond authorization was to really help them track how were we spending it. Where was that project at? Was it in design phase? What are we buying? What does it look like? So we built what was called our CIP bond dashboard. This happens to be one where we had 40 projects that were put out there by fire, law enforcement, streets. And as a citizen, you can see global views, if you'd like, on where you're at across the whole program in terms of design, construction, completion, or more importantly to many of them, how are you spending the money? Where are you at? What's committed? Here's what we said you could go do. Where are you at to date? Probably most popular, though, is where they can drill down to this very specific program. So I can go to the law enforcement. I can go to my fire station 215, what's going on with that, because that's near my house. And as the project progresses from design to construction, we keep track and show, because the feeds are coming from our financial systems. The engineering staff, the people who are managing the CIP projects can get into the system and add notes or add photos and keep the progress growing. So some of this is automatic, so it's automatically updating as expenditures occur, and some of it is where they can actually add their own notes, such as one of them was acquiring replacement fire equipment. When we decide what we're going to go buy and what it is, we can add notes to that effect. You still have the global view, so if you can come in by project, or if you're back out to the maps and you want to key in your address and go, what's near me, you still have all the projects by global view and can click down into the same kind of information. And then more importantly, since this is the internet, you can do all kinds of things. You can have photos of of construction. You can have videos of what's going on. You can show, as in this case, the artist rendering of what that station's going to look like, and then what it looks like when it's complete. What did the building, you could do 3D virtual tours, I guess, if you wanted to go there to show the results of what you did with that particular project. And it's, transparency, because that's good, but it's also, to me, relevant, because you're taking the data and putting it in a way that makes sense. Because transparency doesn't do any good if we just throw tons of data at it. You still have to package it in ways that is useful. We also, as I think many of you have, used the bond estimator, where you can kind of bring it down to the me level. So as you're announcing these huge dollars, or they're seeing these huge dollars on this authorization, they can enter what their property tax value is, and what does that mean to them on a monthly $6.20, weekly, daily type of basis. What is this stuff costing me when I see all these huge dollars? And, $6 a month, maybe that's worth it for all those fire stations I see coming down. iMesa is, as we get into more of the mobile and the social media, our mayor has a wonderful initiative we call iMesa. We were teasing him, wondering if Apple was going to make him trademark that. But he really wanted a way to not just get suggestions like we usually do, but to be able to have people put their information out there, comment on each other's ideas, maybe crowd around the idea, hence the crowdsourcing software, have to vote, have to put their name on the line. And then maybe those the biggest and the best ideas come to the top, and they get taken off into maybe this is what we should go after for funding. Maybe these are real-life projects we should do in the city of Mesa. So he came to us and said, hey, how do we do that? We need to do something like that, where I want to build this ability for citizens, whether I'm online or it's on my Android or my iPhone or I'm at a town hall. I want people to be able to engage and see what's going on. So he started a project called iMesa, and he came to IT and said, quick, I need to put this up, and I want it tomorrow. And we went, wow, we could go build that, but there's crowdsourcing software out there on the internet. What we did was go look at a couple of them, and in my own department, we opened one up literally practically 2 days later to my staff and said, try this, because if anybody can break it, right? Geeks can break it. Try to do things citizens would do. And we did an exercise where I had my department brainstorm ways to be efficient or ways to save money in the budget. And they all got in, and I got a lot of great ideas out of it, but they also found things with a certain particular software where, whoops, you can kind of go cancel somebody else's vote, or did you know you could, ways to get around the system. So it was a great way for my technology people to use the tools, but also for us to see how we could break it. In the end, we decided on a product called User Voice, which you may or may not heard of. A lot of different cities have used this, but you don't know it's User Voice because you're able to brand it as your own city. And the best thing about these tools that are starting to come out with social media like this is this guy's free to government. They have their gold version, if you will, and if you're government, and it's very simple, they issue you the subscription, away you go. So this didn't cost us anything, except for some internal people just to brand it in the look and feel that we wanted with iMesa, which was fairly easy. So this is an example. The top ideas rise to the top. We then can move them into accepted, completed, that type of thing, and they're actually going off to a committee who is then deciding if some of these are going to become proposals in future elections. The neat thing is IT did some testing for you, and then we gave it to the department, and they rocked on. I mean, that's kind of where you have to be going, and more so, it's embracing that the people in the business and the department get to grab these things, change them, work on it. There's very little IT involvement once we help them get off the dime. The other thing is that it's obviously mobile. We helped create some apps in the Android market and the Apple stores so that you could also carry it on your device. I'm not sure how useful some of this is on the small format, but it works really well on the iPads and the tablets. And then last but not least, I had to throw in my bike to work because some of this stuff can just be fun internal. And it helps motivate staff, but it also helps give your staff the expertise, and both in the department and in the IT. If we do these kinds of exercises, then it's not that horrendous of a thing to move into something more formal and visible for citizens. So our transportation has this Earth Day contest called Bike to Work, where employees agree to leave their car at home, get on their bicycle, and come to work that day. And the first year, pretty good, but the second year we wanted to really spin it up, and so we made it a competition and made it visible. So we have SharePoint internally. We created a SharePoint site, team site, use some interactive mapping capabilities, and employees could go in and pinpoint where they're going to start with their bike to work, do a little trash talk, little challenges to other people. And as they would go in and say, hey, I'm signing up for my team and I'm going to bike 17 miles, then the system would grab in bar chart form, oh, you're part of the transportation team and miles. And we had a lot of good competition. We have a traveling trophy. And I have to bring it up because ITD's won the last 3 years in a row, so it's been a fun thing for us as we do it. But it was a great way for some of our early people who hadn't been much in interactive mapping or SharePoint to learn how to do this. And that gave them skills for them to turn around and do it again for maybe a larger citizen initiative. So there are some low-cost ways to grow that talent and skill when we don't have, money, time, and people to do major RFPs and to go after some of this software. So it's kind of why I zeroed in on some of those examples.